Something is happening in the Philippines that almost nobody saw coming. A country famous for stopping everything when Manny Pacquiao stepped into a boxing ring is suddenly paying attention to a completely different kind of fight, one played with a racket, a net, and a whole lot of nerve. At the center of it all is Eala, the young tennis star who has given Filipino sports fans a new reason to wake up early, stay up late, refresh live scores, and believe that the Philippines can make serious noise on the biggest tennis stages in the world. Now, calling anyone the next Pacquiao is a massive statement. Manny Pacquiao wasn't just a champion, he became a national symbol. When he fought, traffic slowed down, streets grew quiet, families gathered around television screens, and millions of Filipinos felt like they were standing in the ring with him. Eala competes in a completely different sport, and her journey is still being written, but the emotion surrounding her rise is beginning to feel familiar. It's not about comparing punches to forehands or boxing belts to tennis trophies. It's about what happens when one athlete makes an entire country feel represented. It's about that rare moment when fans stop seeing a player as just another competitor and begin seeing her as proof that someone from the Philippines can belong on the world stage. For years, tennis in the Philippines had a loyal following, but it never consistently captured the nation's attention the way basketball, boxing, or even international pageants often did. Tennis could feel distant and exclusive, a sport associated with major European cities, American hardcourts, private clubs, and countries with long-established development systems. Filipino fans watched the biggest stars, but there wasn't always a hometown player carrying the flag deep into the conversation. Eala changed that feeling. Suddenly, tennis wasn't just about watching international superstars whose stories felt thousands of miles away. Filipino fans had someone of their own to follow. Every match became personal. Every difficult draw created nervous anticipation. Every comeback sparked pride. Every loss hurt a little more because people genuinely cared. And every breakthrough opened the door to a question that once felt almost impossible. How far can a Filipino tennis player actually go? That question is what keeps people watching. Alex doesn't need to make outrageous promises or manufacture drama. Her appeal comes from the challenge itself. Tennis is brutally demanding. There are no teammates to hide behind when momentum disappears. There is no coach standing beside you during every point. A player has to solve problems in real time, control her emotions, adjust to different surfaces, manage constant travel, and compete against athletes from countries with larger tennis systems and deeper resources. That's why Alex's journey resonates with so many Filipinos. She is walking into spaces where Filipino athletes have rarely been given center stage, and she is doing it while carrying enormous expectations. Every time she steps onto the court, she isn't only trying to defeat the player across the net, she is also trying to push past assumptions about where elite tennis players are supposed to come from. And make no mistake, the pressure is real. Once a young athlete becomes a national hope, every result gets magnified. A victory can create instant celebration, while a disappointing match can trigger criticism from people who forget how difficult professional tennis really is. Fans want success immediately. They want rankings to rise, trophies to arrive, and history to be made on schedule. But sports don't work like that, especially tennis. Progress is rarely a straight line. A player can look unstoppable one week and struggle the next. Confidence can disappear after one rough match. Injuries, travel fatigue, difficult opponents, and small tactical mistakes can change an entire tournament. The athletes who survive are not always the ones who avoid setbacks. They're the ones who learn how to respond when those setbacks arrive. That may be one of the most important parts of Eala's story. She represents ambition, but she also represents patience. Her career reminds fans that becoming great takes more than one viral moment. It requires years of repetition, sacrifice, discipline, and the ability to keep working when the applause fades. For the younger generation, her influence may be even bigger than the headlines suggest. Somewhere in Manila, Cebu, Davao, or a small town far from the major sports centers, a child may be picking up a tennis racket because Alex made the game feel possible. A young girl may now look at a tennis court and see opportunity instead of limitation. Parents who once pushed their children only toward the country's most popular sports may begin considering another path. That is how a sports culture changes, not overnight, but one dream at a time. Pacquiao's impact went far beyond his own victories. He inspired boxing gyms, young fighters, and families who saw his success as proof that humble beginnings did not have to determine the ending. Alex has the potential to create a similar ripple effect for tennis. She can make the sport feel more accessible, more relevant, and more Filipino. But there is also something unique about the way her rise connects with today's audience. Pacquiao became a global icon during an era dominated by television. Alex is building her following in the age of social media, instant highlights, online fan communities, and non-stop discussion. A single point can be clipped, shared, replayed, and debated across multiple platforms within minutes. Filipino fans living in the United States, the Middle East, Europe, and other parts of Asia can follow the same match at the same time and celebrate together. That digital connection has turned her journey into a shared experience for the Filipino diaspora. For people living far from home, seeing the Philippine flag represented in an international tennis event can create a powerful emotional connection. It becomes more than a sports result. It becomes a
reminder of identity, community, and pride. American audiences can understand that kind of connection. Sports in the United States are filled with stories of athletes who became bigger than their individual games because they represented something meaningful. Fans don't only follow wins and losses, they follow perseverance, personality, courage, and the feeling that they are witnessing the beginning of something special. That is why Eala's story has the potential to travel well beyond the Philippines. She brings together several elements that sports fans love: a young player facing established competition, a nation hungry for a new hero, a difficult road with no guaranteed ending, and the possibility of history every time she enters a tournament. Her success could introduce new audiences to Filipino tennis, while her setbacks could reveal the toughness required to keep chasing the dream. Still, the Pacquiao comparison should not become a burden. Alex doesn't have to become a copy of anyone. She doesn't need to carry the exact same legacy, personality, or career path. She deserves the opportunity to build her own identity. Pacquiao's story belonged to boxing. Eala's story belongs to tennis. The real connection between them is not that they compete the same way. It's that they can make millions of Filipinos believe in possibilities that once seemed out of reach. One used speed, power, and relentless pressure inside the ring. The other uses movement, timing, intelligence, and courage across the court. Different arenas, different generations, but a similar emotional spark. And that spark is growing. You can see it whenever fans react to her matches as though they are watching a national event. You can feel it when people who never follow tennis suddenly start learning about rankings, tournament draws, serves, break points, and match schedules. You can hear it in the excitement of supporters who believe that her next big breakthrough could arrive at any moment. That doesn't mean every match will end with a celebration. It doesn't mean she will immediately dominate every opponent or win every major titles fans dream about. Real support means staying invested through the difficult days too. It means allowing a young athlete to develop without turning every loss into a crisis. The greatest thing Filipino fans can give Alex may not be impossible expectations. It may be consistent belief, because what she is building is already important. She has helped move tennis into everyday conversations. She has given young Filipino athletes a visible example of international ambition. She has created a reason for families to watch a sport they might have ignored before, and she has shown that the Philippine flag can belong in conversations about global tennis. The next Pacquiao? Maybe that phrase is less about predicting the exact height of her career and more about describing the feeling she has created. It's the feeling of a country leaning forward together, the feeling that history might be approaching, the feeling that one athlete's journey could change how an entire generation sees a sport. Eala still has challenges ahead, and her biggest chapters may not have been written yet, but one thing is already clear: the Philippines is watching tennis differently because of her. And when an athlete can make millions of people care about a game in a brand new way, that is more than popularity. That is influence. That is legacy beginning to take shape. And that is why Eala may be on her way to becoming not the next version of somebody else, but the first true global tennis icon the Philippines can call its own.